Hey, what's up again? It's another edition of Championship Chase. Ty Miller, Anthony Griggs, and the Queen Bee of Steeler Nation, Ida Simpson. And it's a historic week here in Pittsburgh because Mike Tomlin's era is over. After 19 seasons, he is out as head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Was it time, Ida, for Mike Tomlin to go?
I don't know when time is. I don't know how it's decided when coach's time is up. So I can't say it was time. Was I okay with him going? Absolutely. I felt like probably honestly after his 15th season, I was like, like he's been here a good bit. He's done a lot. Like, so I'm okay if he was to go or not. So for me, I was fine with it. I'm not sure what the terms were, like if there was a nudge, if that's the question, if there was that nudge, or if it was he was, I didn't do what I wanted to do, how I wanted to be this season, last
Mm-hmm.
couple seasons or whatever with playoffs, maybe I'm ready to walk away. I don't know what those details are so fresh right now. I'm definitely curious. But I think it's okay that he decided to walk away from the game at this point in time. And, I think it's an exciting new adventure. You never know what you're going to get, though. You don't know if your auto change and new means winning, means more wins equals winning seasons equals any of that. It's not automatic. He's gone. Someone comes in and then suddenly, boom, you win a Super Bowl, or suddenly you have more wins and playoff game wins, or all of the things that the people are crying about. I don't think that's automatic. I don't know who the next man up is going to be. That's an exciting, part of this whole thing. But there's a lot of uncertainty that comes with that consistency that we've had for a long time with Coach Tomlin.
Anthony, do you see a situation where Tomlin was just sort of kind of burned out, or could there have been a family conversation about, you know what, we need to just move in a new direction?
I think so, and all that. I don't know if it was so much that Tomlin got burned out. I really don't. I think he's always going to feel the fire of he can win and he can motivate, and he's shown that by having not had a losing season. He's shown that. That's what that shows, if anything, that he can get guys motivated enough to play and win in that league. Now, what that says is the league's standard is pretty high, okay, for owners, and they get to a certain point, and even just hearing the same voice and having some of the same results. And I'm not saying that he's had a bad results, but there's expectation by the owners and the players, but also expectation by the league itself, the fans, the writers. Everybody's like just getting so used to each other that all of a sudden they started saying they want change, and really they're just not understanding that this is high stakes. Tomlin's done something that a lot of coaches wish they could do, is never having a losing season. Now, with that said, yeah, there were probably some over the dinner table discussions with the Rooneys, saying, hey, what are we going to do? We haven't really won. We haven't gotten the playoffs. Okay, we're in the playoffs this year. And it's not just this year, I think, that they were contemplating some things. I think maybe there was the bad sheep in the family that always brought it up or something. But I think this year they got a chance to look at it. And after this game, Tomlin and them sat down and they just thought of an applicable way of making a split. Okay. And it wasn't like a firing. Hey, we fired him right after the game in 24 hours. It's, hey, Tomlin stepped down. Okay. They don't fire people in the Steelers organization. Okay. They step down. They mutually have a conversation. That's the way it has been.
This human relations moment brought to you by PGHCHR. Does the world have you feeling anxious? Are you worried that hate and injustice will triumph? We are here to help. Report your concerns today. Call us at 412-255-2600 or email us at human.relations@pittsburghpa.gov. Pittsburgh Commission on Human Relations, enforcing civil rights laws since 1955.
Let's talk briefly about the game that sent Mike Tomlin packing as head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Was it a bad look after winning the AFC North, Ida?
I mean, I guess it just depends on how you look at it, Ty. To be honest, I am not happy that I am sitting here without any scheduled thing for this weekend. Like I already had in my mind that I had playoff football. I'm in the divisional round, ready to go, already in my mind. So it is not an easy task, today here without that happening. So that loss it just wasn't a good look to me. I didn't feel good about it. I of course Steeler Nation is in mourning. This was a tough one. It was a tough one. But it just depends on how you look at it. Like I look at it like this. He came together with a team of the unwanted misfits from other teams that he put together and got into this playoff. He didn't let you have handed him what some of these other coaches had. Harbaugh had gift wraps in front of him. He had golden treasures that anybody would have loved to have had and be in the playoffs with right now. Mike Tomlin didn't have that. Is it his fault that he didn't pick up and do what he needed to do after Big Ben to get the quarterback to lead this team to the future? Yes, he's a part of that problem because Mason Rudolph, Kenny Pickett, we had a couple issues here. So we can talk those things that he fell short on. So absolutely. But what he had going into this playoff, you had to know, you wished and hoped that it was going to pan out and it was Super Bowl. But the reality is that we knew as soon as somebody got to Aaron Rodgers that it was going to be tough. We knew that if that tandem got to Aaron Rodgers, it was going to be over. And it happened just like that. It was a good, solid first half of that game. They came in with a game plan that was solid, that kept him protected and safe. Yes, they weren't scoring points. Yes, they had turnovers that they couldn't capitalize on. But the reality is we're not giving credit to the defense that they were in front of. That was an amazing defense. And when you look at what they were able to come out and do, you're like, okay, wow. They couldn't do that for 60 minutes, though. Those two are beasts. They got to the point where it was like, okay, we're not going to just be held back this whole game. Y'all ain't going to come up and hold us from getting to him this whole game. And they did it for a good, solid amount of time. But, all good things come to an end. So I have to look at it with me tipping my hat off, absolutely, to the Houston Texans defense and what they were able to do during that game.
I think they're we were hoping that, a couple things that we saw early on were going to come together for this game. Now that they're in the playoffs, this is where they can correct it. We got Metcalf back. We got some things back. Our line is gelling. Okay, everybody's healthier. Maybe we can do some things, get our safety, get our DBs, together. We had time to get back. We're in the playoffs, guys. This is it. Lose and you go home. That didn't happen. Okay. They got dismantled. They got destroyed. Okay. I've seen a lot of games, and I say that I've seen a lot of our teams get destroyed. I root for the Browns. I've seen them get with that. It's and this defense, when you had, okay, I enjoy watching Myles Garrett. You love watching that guy and what he's able to do and he's accomplished this year. But when you have two of those guys coming, you saw professional linemen getting run over like they're high school kids. You saw it. They replayed it. And it was like, oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. He did a couple jiu-jitsu moves and it was over. Okay. So that was that part of it. The other part of it was, as Ida was saying, they got to him, but they had to anticipate or have a game plan to get the ball off, just delay him, chip him, do something. Same thing you do with Myles Garrett. Okay. But then you got two of them. Let's put it a little bit. Let's ramp it up a little bit. We didn't see that. So I was kind of dismayed. I was kind of dismayed at the end of the game too. 8 minutes left. You got all your timeouts. Are we conceding? Are the Steelers conceding this game is over? Because it seemed like they're not trying to now call the timeouts to get the ball back and doing the things they got to do. So that was another part of it. As far as what's gonna going forward, and another part of it was the AFC North. Okay, they flat out came out and won it at the end. Where they go? Okay, now they're in the playoffs. Now we can get things going and got Metcalf back. Here we go, full throttle. No, it just didn't get that way. And Houston gave him every chance with Stroud throwing bad snaps, throwing interceptions. Here we go, Steelers, convert. No. And when that didn't happen, that's when I was like, something's happening. Flags not going their way, things not going, penalties, this and that. Okay. and they just look kind of JV-ish, as Lieutenant Tomlin way of talking. So sometimes when you get in those situations, and in sports is you got to win now. Now, here goes Houston into the playoffs. They're going to New England. Here we go. We're going to see what happens now. And I'm not saying they can't, but what I just saw them play, it's like, wow, if they can do that throughout the playoffs, it'll be a hard team to beat.
For Mike Tomlin, do you think there was a situation where he thought about coming back again next season, or was it a done deal when that game was over in his mind?
I think he probably already had it in his mind of how this season will play out. I think it's kind of tough. And I think he played it well, but it is not easy to stand tall at that stadium with that crowd, that loud, so, just noise. Yes, it's outside noise, but that ain't outside. That's right in your home. And it's loud. And it was just like, I think at that point, there's like, well, okay, because it became the conversation everywhere. Like after that, it was already on the table. After that, it became conversation everywhere. It became outside, inside, upside, downside noise that was constant. And I believe for me as a fan of Steeler Nation, I felt like at that time, I'm like, why would I want to stay here? Why would I want to stay here with these ungrateful fans? Like, I want to win more than anybody. I'm going to tell it to you like this. I want to win more than anybody. There's nobody more in this world who wants to win it more than me. That's the way I look at it. There's no Steeler fan that wants to win it more than I do. I don't care how old you are, how long you've been in this city, and I've been a fan since the 70s and this and that. Like, I understand that this is a game. I understand that this is not automatic. I understand that there are teams that win 5 games consistently in and out or less. I understand there are coaches that are willing to lay it down for draft picks. I understand that there are coaches that cannot be competitive week in and week out, year in and year out. I understand all of those different elements of this game. And I really understand what it looks like when you have a roster that wasn't expected to do nothing and still put up and put on versus a coach who had all of the pieces almost and was expected to go all the way and win it all, and you outperformed him and did better than them. I see that so I'm looking at all these different pieces. It's not just one part. I just want to win. The reality is everybody's not going to win. Everybody can't win. Do I want to win? Absolutely. I want it more than anything. This city needs it. It's miserable. Like, so we need that Super Bowl. We need a playoff win. We needed all of those things. And I think Mike Tomlin, if he could, he would have given it to us. I don't think he was purposely holding out. I think it was just a case of the hand and the cards that were dealt. Now, we could talk about those cards that were dealt, if he could have been better at picking at those cards and the different things that lead up to that. But I believe in everything that has happened here, that it was a good way for him to walk away. I think maybe not good way. I think he probably should have walked away a little bit earlier, because it's just like the ending was just nasty. That's the part I didn't like. I didn't like the nastiness of these fans. Ungrateful, nasty, disrespectful fans. When you go in those comments and things that they're saying, it is next level disgusting. But it wasn't something that just happened from these couple of seasons of not getting playoff wins. They're talking, he only won a Super Bowl because Cowher put the team together for him. Like, he never was any good. Like, he was just lucky and got that. Like, there are so many undertones that I think is just next level that I cannot ever stand by. And it makes you wonder about a lot of those fans. And it's not a majority of the Steeler Nation. It's definitely a third, I believe, that is loud and wrong. This is an offensive league. That defensive extra only defense, like, I feel like it's time to go offensive. That's what I have in my mind. I know we've been defense, but the stack is favored towards offense. So I think if you go and get a good offensive coordinator and he's doing well, he's going to get snatched away and go be somebody else's head coach. So I feel like you got to get your head coach as your offensive coordinator, and then build that offense in a way you can still have a great defense. That doesn't mean just because you have an offensive minded coach that you're not going to have a good defense and can't get a but them offensive minded coaches, they are usually they're snatched up. If they're good, they're building, they do great, they're gone. So it's
let me say this though. Okay, because if I'm walking out as an owner of watching the game last night, I'm like, that's how you play defense. That won that game. That's how you shut that offense down. I got to get someone who can get our defense like that.